there folks, welcome back to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kaz, and today I'm going to be bringing to you a Kickstarter preview. That's pre-production, so we don't have a full final copy, keep that in mind, of Imnia. It's a city building game with a lot of engine building elements and a little bit of worker placement. It's by Black Sea Interactive. It's about 40 minutes per player. It's for 2 to 4 players and it's for 12 and up. In this, you become a medieval lord who's trying to build up their prestige by building a magnificent wonder in their town. We're going to go ahead and do a general brief overview of how the game plays, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of my final thoughts. In Imnia, you're trying to gain enough prestige and power so that you can be the first one to finish all 3 levels of a wonder of your choosing. The way you get to choose a wonder is you're trying to reach the highest level of the influence track, which is 7, and at that point you have a choice of different kinds of wonders to complete. You're trying to gain as many coats of arms as you can to be able to complete it. As you see, the different levels represented by the amount of coats of arms that you need to complete those levels. Now you're going to start off with 4 different types of starter buildings, and you're also going to get 3 different worker meeples as well as 2 boats that you can use for showing when you've actually built your boats. You're also going to get some starting resources. Now the game's going to take place over 4 different seasons. You've got spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and each player is going to be able to take 1 action per turn until all their actions are exhausted for each season, and then the season's going to change once everybody's done. You're going to be doing a lot of resource management between local resources and exotic resources. Now there's different kinds of things on the board. For example, if you look at the buildings, you've got level 1, 2, and 3 buildings on the board. Now let's take a look at some of the level 1 buildings. For example, you've got something like the church. It allows you to collect 2 gold for each priest in your town. There's a robe maker, allows you to craft 1 robe. There's a port, either speculate or exchange exotic goods. Action available only in the summer. Some of them might be specific to a particular season. Now, if you look at some of the level 2 buildings, you've got a gatherer's camp that'll allow you to gain different kinds of resources. You can just go ahead and gain any type of set that you want to. You've got a leather tanner, craft 1 parchment. You also have a guardhouse, which protects from a thief. Then you also have level 3 buildings like the chancery. Collect 2 gold for each character in your town. You have a brothel. Spy, check the top 5 cards of any building deck and reorder them. You also have a jeweler, craft 1 ring. Now, if you want to purchase a building, the purchase price is going to be in the bottom left-hand corner, and it's going to tell you the kind of resources that it's going to need. And if you also look on the bottom right, some of them will allow you to house characters. Now, if you look also at the top left, some cards are not going to have anything there, but some of them will also have requirements of symbols that you need to be able to build them. For example, the chancery here, it says you need the 2 top symbols up there to be able to build it, not just the actual cost at the bottom. In the middle of each card, you're going to see a symbol. For example, the church is going to have a cross, the chancery is going to have a sun type symbol there. And what this is saying is that basically you need these types of buildings already in your town built to be able to build the chancery, whatever's got these symbols. Now you've also got unique buildings in the middle of the board that are going to require quite a bit more to build them, including coats of arms as well. But they give you much, much higher benefits in the long run, as well as giving you an extra worker to use. For example, you can construct the harbor, which allows you to now construct a ship, which will give you many, many, many more benefits than a standard boat would. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the actions you can take. Starting with your starter card, you can take one of your workers, put it on the market. This will allow you to buy and sell resources. So you've got a chart in here which will let you know how much you can actually spend to purchase some more resources you might need. And this is typically local resources, or it will also allow you to know how many bags of gold you'll get back for selling some of your resources. You've also got a shipwright. This allows you to construct 1 boat for 1 plank and a yellow resource. So you can place a worker there and use your shipwright card. You've also got a resource gatherer. It's very simple. You gather one of the following sets, and a lord's office. Now this goes into getting quests. Draw 2 quest cards, keep 1 and discard the other. Now typical quest cards can have a top row area or a bottom row area that you can actually choose to do either one. So once you've started doing one of them, you cannot then choose to do the next one. For example, one quest in particular says, the Emperor requests your aid for an Imperial project. Discard 3 blue resources, which are very expensive, by the way. And your reward is increase your position on the influence scale by +2. The bottom part of the quest that you could do is discard 2 orange resources or 1 yellow resource, and it allows you to get that many coat of arms that you would normally be sitting at on the influence track. So wherever you are on the influence track, that's how many coat of arms you'd get back. Now there's also achievements on the board that you can reach which give you different kinds of benefits. So for example, you could have the Builder's Hall of Fame, be the first to own 12 buildings. Your reward or all wonder levels now cost you 2 coat of arms less to build. That's pretty sweet. It's a discount. You could also have the Crafter. Be the first to have in your inventory at least 4 different items. Your reward is gain 2 points on the influence scale. There's many different kinds of achievements in the game that you can go for, and this just helps benefit you in the long run. Also on the board, there are other actions that you can take. For example, you could place a worker on the grab first player icon. You can also demolish a building if you need to, because you can only have a maximum of 12 buildings in your town, and you can discard a quest if you want to, because you do have a maximum number of quests that you can hold. Now you're also going to have a stack of characters to go through, and you're going to have the buildings that have their symbol on them to be able to even hire them. Now each character card is going to have a hiring price and an ability that they grant you. For example, the trader, buy and sell resources at the market price. You've got the Abbot, discard 3 books and gain 5 coats of arms. You've got the Bishop, once per turn, discard 20 coins to gain 6 coats of arms. Wow, that's really powerful. You've got the Master Merchant, once per turn, gain any 3 resources of your choice, no exotic resources, which we're going to get to in a moment. You've got the Monk, increases your hand quest card limit by +1. That's pretty sweet. You've got the Thief. Sabotage an opponent's building for 1 season, cannot be used consecutively. So, and you have many different kinds of characters in the game, and there's multiples pretty much of many of them. Now, there are many ways to gain influence in the game. You can gain influence for constructing a building. If an opponent crafts something in your town, meaning they've used your spot to craft something, and you get quite a few for constructing a unique building. You can also lose influence. For example, for each character in your town that dies in winter, or if you craft an item in an opponent's building, or if you demolish a building without the architect's office. So yes, it does cost you to demolish a building. Now let's take a look at the different seasons that you have. At the start of spring, you're going to reset the building offer. Take all the buildings in the building offer and discard them to their respective decks. And then you're going to refill those buildings. Now you can't have any duplicate buildings out there when you do this. During the summer phase, you're going to have the boats arrive and bring their exotic goods. Each player, starting with the first, will pick the rightmost available exotic token of their choice from the speculation track. You can pick one for every boat you own. Now we go to the autumn phase. In this phase, when you're taking your normal actions, if you craft something, you get double the amount of something that you would normally craft. And then we go to the winter phase, and this is basically where you're trying to protect your characters. For each one you have, you're going to have the appropriate item to protect them. For example, a robe can save 1 character, a cure can save 2, and an attire can save 3. Now, when it comes to some of the extra rules in the game, such as the items, levels, and things of that nature, I'm not going to get into that heavily here because some quests call for you to use level 1 items, level 2, level 3. I do kind of wish that the tokens themselves kind of said what the levels were instead of me having to go to the book to see what the levels were. Other than that, the easy fix is to stack the items according to their levels and just kind of keep them together. But just keep in mind, there are fact pages and charts that help you to understand. But you're going to be doing this round after round after round, building your towns, gaining more abilities, building your engine to be able to get that final push to build the wonder that you want to build. And at the end of the game, whoever builds their wonder first is going to be the winner. Now let's go ahead and get back to my final thoughts. As you can see, Imnia's got some decent engine building elements to it. Again, some worker placement elements. And to me, in some ways, it has a slight splash, keep in mind, splash, of a little bit of Seven Wonders, right? And at the same time, a little bit of Splendor, but take the complexity level up by a magnitude of 10 for each game, right? And those are very simple. This one is going to be a bit more complex, going to have more rules. It's definitely medium to heavy Euro, depending on, what you're used to. If you're looking for a good meaty Euro that has city building elements and other things I was discussing, that is definitely what this game is. It scratches the itch for me in many ways of the engine building elements, because I'm a massive fan of engine building games. Anything like Scythe or what have you, it is just naturally something I gravitate towards in terms of the type of gameplay and mechanics that are involved in this. And I really enjoyed, the one thing in particular that stuck out to me was having to build the boats and then maybe possibly graduating that later into ships so you can get more exotic goods in, you know. I enjoyed the fact that I could build my city and kind of decide how, you know, whichever route I want to go. There's multiple paths to victory in that way. I mean, there's one main thing you have to do, which is build one of the wonders, you know, and be the first one to do it. But I really like the idea that if you don't want to go on a specific strategy, you can choose to change that strategy. You know, you can demolish a building if you don't need it and get a new building out. And I like the tension. The tension between turns is really good, because what you're doing is you're watching, and your opponents are watching that area where the buildings are coming out. Let me take that first player spot just so I make sure I get the first jump on that next building coming out, because I need to build planks, or I want to buy, you know, create robes or whatever it is, and everything kind of works congruently with each other. And the cool thing I like too is, in case you can't get that building, you can always use an opponent's building. Granted, you're paying a little bit on influence, and that could possibly hurt you a little bit, but you're really making strategic and some tactical decisions in that. But overall, if you liked what you saw here, definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend checking it out. Imnia, absolutely beautiful artwork. To be honest with you, in some ways it didn't even feel like a prototype to me. And if that's what this company's pulling out just in the prototype, I'm excited to see what they've got for the final version. You're definitely going to be getting a lot of meat in this game, so understand this is not a short game by any means, but it is a fun one. It kept us engaged when we played it. Anyway, go check it out. It's on Kickstarter. Thank you so much for watching the Dice Odyssey videos. Please remember to like and subscribe. And hey, do you like games like this? Are you a big heavy Euro fan, or even a medium to heavy Euro? Let us know down in the comments. Anyway, you have a blessed day, and game away. This video is brought to you by Fallen Dominion Studios. Check out their website at fallendominionstudios.com.